No, I just have it out. I didn't get it out, but we certainly could have you demonstrate if you would like.
Hello, everybody. We're starting. Let's show what Jen's talking about right now.
No, if they're not here, they can't see. If you can guess what this is. No, just kidding. We're just having some fun. We're going to start in just a second.
We're ready.
Where are?
Yeah. All right. Welcome. It's our June meeting.
We are so excited because we have new faces in the room, and we have not old faces, but familiar faces in the room. My name is Jen Mango, and this is my husband, Phil. For most of y'all, you know who we are. And we're just going to open up in a quick word of prayer and get started. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you and praise you for this time together and for this day, for the sunshine, and for this opportunity. We thank you for Plexus and what it's meant in our lives personally and in our lives corporately through this group and the thousands of lives that we've touched because of the decision and finding it. And so we just ask right now, Lord, that you're with the people that are watching online, you're with us, that you open our minds and hearts to learn something new and inspire us in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right.
All right. So I thought since there's a lot of new people here, very quickly, we'll share a story. Becky is on us about getting our financial testimony on video, and we're going to do that this week, I promise. But we found Plexus I found Plexus on Facebook in July of 2013. So on July 17th, which is in just a couple weeks, I will have my 2-year Plexiversary, which I cannot even believe that it's been 2 years. But I, like many people in this room, was on Facebook probably a little bit more than I needed to be or should be. And a friend of mine that was really was a casual acquaintance. If you'd like to stand up and share with me. Watched her lose about 40 pounds in about 8 weeks and posting on this Plexus thing. And so I asked her what it was, and I was working with a nutritionist. Y'all could probably tell this story that have heard me share. But we had worked with a nutritionist. I brought a nutritionist in to help with our family because we had some behavioral issues and some health issues. And with the nutritionist and paying her, I lost 10 pounds and gained it twice. And while we were still working with her, I asked my friend for a sample. So Phil took it. Phil and I went to dinner to a burger restaurant that he had chosen. He loves hamburgers, for those of you who know him. And he ate half of his hamburger that night and said he didn't want any more. And I ate all of mine, and even though I was going to answer.
Rings as well.
Yeah. I had to answer to the nutritionist the next day, and I didn't care. And I looked at him and I said, "What is wrong with you?" And he said, "I'm just not hungry." And I really thought he was sick. He took 2 samples, both for 2 days in a row, lost 6 pounds. The other part of the story was that his plantar fasciitis that we had been dealing with that had cost us lots and lots of money and everyday pain went away within 4 days of being on the product. And that was something he didn't share with me till later because he thought that I would be like, this magic drink is taking care of everything, which it kind of does, as we all know. But I had quit my job as a speech therapist because I really felt strongly that I needed to be home with my babies and not at work every day and come home and be the mean mama because I had saved all of my good stuff for the kids that I was with during the day. And we made that decision even though we really couldn't afford to do that. And in May. And so this was July. And so he basically said, we can buy the product today when it was a payday. We waited till a payday to purchase the product, the welcome pack. And we were both going to take it, but we could not afford for us to purchase 2 months supply. And he said, next month, if you don't make commission, we won't be able to afford it. And that, whenever Phil tells me I can't do something unless, tends to fuel me up a little bit. So I took it as a challenge. But there was something in me that said, this is it. I don't know why. I don't know this girl from really Adam much more than what I had experienced with her a little bit on Facebook. But I felt something very strongly in my gut or in my spirit, whatever you want to call it, that said, you need to do this. And within the last 2 weeks of July, I earned a commission check of $650. And so Phil goes, "What? Okay." So then
you could work a little harder.
Right, because I had done that with sharing on Facebook. And then that first full month of working for Plexus and really applying myself for a full month, my next check was about $1,800. So then by September, Phil says, maybe I should do this with you. And let's see what this means. And he had a friend who had been a comptroller for a very well-known direct sales company that you would all know that drives paint cars. years ago that they had said, he had looked at the comp plan and he said, you need to jump on this. And then his wife signed up under me. So that was just about 2 years ago. Within 10 months, I had the fortune, because of all you wonderful people online and here, of growing a fantastic, amazing team of people to become one of the leaders in our company. And when you become a leader, I'm an Emerald Ambassador. That means that you partake in profit sharing. I have a free Lexus in our garage. That just had its 1-year anniversary yesterday. Thank you, Erica, for sharing that. That was so cute to have friends popping up on my Facebook with my car anniversary, which was cute. And then a free trip to Hawaii last year, and we will be going again this year. But more than that, the financial freedom that has come for our family, the health freedom that has come for our family. I lost 19 pounds and about 14 inches within 3 or 4 months, right around 3.5 months. Phil lost weight at the beginning, lost the plantar fasciitis. Our children, my 14-year-old who has asthma, has had asthma since he was a baby, has not had to be on a breathing treatment or receive steroid drugs since he started Plexus. And for nothing else, if to watch your baby not be able to breathe and then to be able to have the freedom to do that, and he plays hockey and he's a very active kid, that alone in itself is a gift. So I could go on and on about the health benefits. We have a child on the spectrum. We have a child with celiac. In terms of PMS, raise your hand if it's helped you there. There's room, hands around the room. IBS. I mean, I cannot, the sleep, the energy, the almost getting mad because I don't need to take a nap in the afternoon, or the excuse to go take a nap because I have the energy that I used to not have. And so Plexus being one of the most natural product on the market with the comp plan that we have, and then being surrounded by the people that are in this room. And I'll point out and embarrass her, but my best friend from high school has now, she's rolling her eyes at me. She's right here. There's Erica back there. There's your buddy. She's like, come sit with me. Because Ruby's like, oh my God, I'm here by myself. Don't. But for Plexus to connect people in the way that it has, again, is such a gift. You know, Beverly gets to do her business with her sisters, and my mama is an ambassador. I could go around the room. Diane and I connected from years ago from me doing speech therapy with her son. So my second grade teacher, Sherilyn Jameson, who's on our team and lives in State College, Pennsylvania, we have reconnected after 35 years. 30. I'm gonna go with 30 because that sounds a little bit less painful. But she was my favorite teacher, y'all, and for God to connect us back. I mean, believe what you want to believe, but God's handprint is all over this. We are Plexus for Life people. Phil is a senior Ruby ambassador, so the next step for him will be Emerald, which is where I'm at right now, which will mean another Lexus and another 2 people to go to Hawaii with us. So things continue to keep mushrooming and growing. And the biggest thing I think in the last 2 years is looking at what if I was putting this much time into a traditional job from 2 years ago to now, where would I be? More than likely in the same place, maybe an 8% raise, maybe a 10% raise. I know I'd be more tired than I am. I know I'd be way more cranky than I am. I wouldn't have my hardwood floors. As y'all know, that was a big deal for me, a bucket list that I got this year. So the benefits just have gone on and on and on. And it truly is a privilege and an honor to get to share this. I feel like it is a gift that we get to share, both from a health perspective as well as from a wealth perspective. And if you can capture that and put it in a little bubble and carry it with you everywhere you go and pass that along to people. Monica and I have had 45 minutes worth of conversation so far. If that. Yep. Connected. And she immediately could tell, and I can tell in her that she has that little magnet that says, I get it, I see it, I like it, and I want it, and I want to share it with people. And there's no stopping you when it's like that. So that's our story. We're sticking with it.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, now I'm going to help
Stick
you
to
out.
the agenda. Yeah, I know.
Announcements.
Okay.
Yeah, for those of you all who haven't been here, I'm such a stickler for agenda because I can't stand a meeting that goes for 4 hours. This one's going to be 3.
The doors are locked. You can't leave.
But
Just
I've been to
kidding.
too many meetings professionally and personally where I'm like, are you Kidding me? Give me an agenda. So we're on the agenda. All right, announcements. June stats so far. So far, this team has added 50 new ambassadors, which is great. It's been the most we've had. So
Proud of y'all. Give yourself a hand.
We're on pace for about $110,000, almost $120,000 in personal volume. What's personal volume?
Personal volume is the amount of sales that come through your website. And the cool thing with Plexus is they don't have to be your sales personally. As an ambassador, a lot of companies will require a minimum from you personally, and then you go out and additionally collect orders. That's anything that comes through your website.
Okay, awesome. Contest update. So Hallie was great to update this little contest that we've got going on. If you can see that. Wow. We are at 50 ambassadors when we hit 75.
We have this fun little gift bag. Who saw this at convention that went? Isn't it so cute? It's like the perfect little beach bag because it's wipeable. Somebody could ask you what Plexus is, and y'all, my husband, if he knew what all I put in here, he would be mad and be taking stuff out. But
Is
he's
there
not
more
going
than
to get to see.
$25 in goodies there?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
there is. So there's lots of great stuff. There's promotional tools that you can use for your business, but there's also some fun personal things.
So what do you have to do to
Gender-specific.
qualify for that when we hit 75?
You need to have add at least one person to your team purchasing a welcome pack. So as you grow your team, you have a chance to win this. And so we wanted to make it fair so that everybody, as you're working towards, and we're working towards our goals for Leaders Retreat, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, would have an opportunity to kind of benefit from little goodies along the way.
So we're almost there on the first one. And by the way, where's Leaders Retreat?
Leaders Retreat is, somebody tell me. Washington, D.C. And that's October 15th through 18th. For the new people in the room that are going, what's Leaders Retreat? What's Washington, D.C.? I will tell you, I signed up July 17th of 2013, and the trip was in October, and I earned the trip between July 17th and October. It is very doable if you apply yourself toward your business. And so for those of you who are personally sponsored by me in this room, we'll get together and we'll talk through those details. And if you're interested in earning that trip, it's a lot of fun to get to go. The really cool thing about our company, and Rainey, who is our diamond ambassador of my upline, who's here, we love her. She will attest to you that when you're in this environment, to think of a company that we have about 250 to 300,000 active ambassadors right now with our company, and yet to go to an event and feel like you can go up to our CMO and our CEO and sit down and have a conversation and feel listened to. I can tell you, and she can tell you, and probably people in this room that have sat and talked to them. Erica has shirts that say, "Hey, Charles," now because they're so close. But they're real, and they're the most amazing people in terms of how they run a business and being approachable. So Leaders Retreat is a great place to get connected with the corporate feel of what Plexus is all about.
And not to mention other leaders throughout the company and the country are all gathered there. So I know, Becky, you met people from around the country that you didn't know before, and I'm sure that's helped with your business, bouncing ideas and friendships. The training.
I love convention.
Yeah.
I'm married to Leaders Retreat.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
it's fantastic. Do what you can to get there. It's worth it. Okay, Silver's boot camp update.
Who has enjoyed Silver Boot Camp this month? That was kind of a loaded question, actually, but who's participated in the Silver Boot Camp?
Okay.
And I want to say thank you to my leaders in the room and to the leaders online that have helped facilitate that. We do offer a boot camp training via Zoom. Zoom is basically a webinar
Video
format.
conferencing.
Video conferencing that's super easy on your computer or from your phone that allows you to participate in a training session for about 30 minutes. It's very easy. It's user-friendly. We have done that every Monday for the month of June. We have 2 scheduled for tomorrow, and our lovely Heidi Romney and Beverly Woodson will be hosting those tomorrow.
Yes.
And I love their topic. They're going to be talking about time management. And so no matter where you are with your business, whether you're just starting or you've been doing this a while and you think you've got it figured out, hey, participate and be a part of that.
And this is what I love is that we've got 2 people who were and who are full-time, own a business, run a school, have been doing their Plexus business over a year, year and a half. And so they're doing 2 jobs. And so I think that's great for them to
They're
talk
a great
about time
example
management.
of how to do that. And really
Yeah.
breaking down income producing versus non-income producing time, because we talk all the time that you can think about your business all day long and think about what you want to do with Plexus and who would benefit. But if you do not open your mouth or reach out and connect,
Yeah.
you're not doing anything to grow your business.
And from that Silver Star Bootcamp, I think we've had 6 promotions to Silver this
7.
month. 7.
7 silver stars.
Now, what's that mean to be a Silver?
Silver ambassador means that you have 3 personally sponsored ambassadors under you, which means that you're growing a team. When you hit silver, you do get a $100 bonus in addition to the commission and the business builder bonuses that you receive from that. So it's a really substantiating time, because it says, I have a team, I'm going to do this business, and you have people that are coming alongside of you. And so then as people are coming alongside of you, you're doing less work in terms of the day-to-day reaching out for every single person that you get to benefit from.
Not to mention you get 5% override on everything that they personally produce.
Exactly.
So
That's why we love Erica.
we love Erica. because
$3,000 PV girl.
Erica does $3,000 in PV, and so I get $150 just for having her on my team because I'm such a great leader.
Right, Erica? Yeah.
As it relates-
Moving right along.
As it relates to that, in July we're gonna do a new session of boot camp, right?
Yes, we are going to be doing a new session.
So what are we
of
gonna
boot camp.
change?
We're going to just do it in the evenings, because we realize that a lot of the people, while we've had some participation in the mornings, that it is just more difficult with kids and things going on. And so people can schedule their day. If you are not available in the evening, the great thing is we will have them recorded, so you can pick up and they'll be on our team page, and you can go back and we'll reference them and watch them at your convenience.
Cool.
Okay.
Questions, comments, concerns? We're gonna skip
Yep.
that
Mhm.
and move that to here.
Okay.
Cool.
All righty.
Just how
So
we
this
do.
is your part, really,
No,
mostly.
this is our part. There's no yours and mine. All right, so the training topic for today.
Okay, so we're totally gonna take from our awesome leader, Miss Rainey Anderson, who gosh, when did you do your top 10 things that's successful?
I wrote it out when I was.
You were an Emerald, right? So that was about a year and a half ago, at least, or longer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Rainey had this fabulous list, and we were going over that yesterday because with the room again, I wanted to make sure that we were covering things that were relevant for everyone, and I think it's always a great refresher. And Mr. Mango, of course, has to, he can't submit really to anyone else's rules just as they are, so we have to tweak them. So he's like, we're gonna give her all the credit, but we're gonna like
Wordsmith it a little
he
bit.
wordsmithed it.
Just a little.
I was like,
A little
well,
bit.
at least she's gonna be there, Phil, and you can just do it right in front of her face.
Look, let's go down a quick rabbit trail.
So not my
submitting to
personality.
authority. I submit to authority, but if there's a lane with 10 cars and a
He's
lane that's
always
wide
gonna
open,
go to the other.
I'm not a sheep,
will
I'm a
never
wolf.
stand.
I go to the lane that's wide open.
It
And if I
really
need to
makes
turn
me
right, I
crazy.
can always cut in front of them. Just saying.
This has nothing to
Just
do
saying.
with Plexus, but okay.
Again,
All right.
it was.
Yes,
Always.
Always.
But I do the courtesy vote. Thank
He
you.
does, and he laughs if he gets flipped off or yelled at, he does this and he smiles like.
All right. So that's not the top
So
10
this
11 things
is-
ambassadors do, by the way.
So this is Rainey's list wordsmithed. So we're gonna go through it, and we will be interjecting kind of a lot of things. If you have something to say, I want you to share with us, because
But
You know.
you have to come to the front. Yeah.
but you have to come to the front.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Number one.
the obvious one is to be a product of the product, and not just a product of the product, but a product of the product with passion. If you walk into a room and somebody's like, "Oh, she looked good," and you're like, "Oh, thanks."
It's not passion.
Somebody noticed something about you, or I hear this all the time from, I'm not going to say who in this room, but, well, I've lost some weight, but really, when I get to here, if you wait till you're going to be waiting for your business to grow, you're going to be waiting for your pants to shrink, you're going to be for everything, because there's so much that Plexus does that we don't have to hold on to the weight. And we know that for most people, the entrance point or their interest point, right, is weight loss or feeling better in some form or fashion. Becky Gibson, would you come up for 2 minutes and share, just because I think you epitomize, and we totally called her out on the spot, she had no idea. She would take notes and be all like this if I made her plan. She epitomizes sharing with passion. And I think That's because,
We're in the frame. There we go.
tell us why.
Sorry.
Would you like me to go get you some lip gloss?
Yes, please. No makeup, no hair.
No, this is keeping it real.
Okay.
No, but when you see someone, we've had lots of conversations about, I can't help it, but I'm so excited. Like that comes out of Becky's mouth a lot. And she shares a lot with a lot of people, which then gets her a lot of interest and a lot of customers that way because passion is contagious, right?
Absolutely, it is. And I think when I walk into rooms, people see, since I'm on Plexus, there's something going on there. That was one of the first things that I noticed when I first started Plexus, which I don't know if all of you know this, but I didn't think this crap was going to work. I joined just for the business. Didn't think anybody would lose a pound, but thought I could talk people into it anyway. But,
I did not know that.
that's the truth. Had never tasted the product when I signed up.
Right.
Never thought it would help my health or my weight or anything like that. I just thought it was a way to make money. Day one is when I got hooked. When I drank 120 ounces of water my first day. Day 3 when my IBS went away. Day 4 or 5, I go into the convenience store, 7-Eleven or something, to buy a pack of cigarettes. And 3 people smiled and said something to me that didn't work there. Now, guys, I'd been in that same 7-Eleven a couple days before, and a couple days before that with my depressed, not alive, I'm just in here, I'm going to get my cigarettes and I'm going to go home. Any of you recognize that from me?
Yeah.
That's what I was. Ask the tall guy. I was, and Plexus turned me back on.
Awesome.
And I think I'm on when I walk into a room.
And you're such a
Love it. Love it. Love it.
So that makes a difference.
So that's number 1. Be passionate. Be passionate.
Number 2 really goes along with that whole thing about sharing your testimony. And again, that goes back to it does not have to be about weight loss. You know, Becky, the very first day she came into my house for us to talk and train a little bit, she walked from the door to by the time she walked from the car to the couch, she was out of breath. So before she and her IBS thing, you share what you experience with Plexus. If you feel like it's made you happier, if it's made you forget that you had PMS symptoms, if it's made you realize that you don't need that nap or you don't need that monster drink or you don't need that cup of coffee, whatever it is, share, because you have no idea the person that you're in the room with, what they're experiencing, what they're going to go through, and what they're going to connect with. And we prejudge a lot of times that, well, if you're skinny, then you don't need our products. And if you're this, you don't need our products. And when you're able to share your testimony, whatever it is, or somebody else's testimony that's on your team that you really connect with, then that opens a door and for communication.
Absolutely. Number 3 is be prepared. Have samples, business card, a catalog, and a comp plan with you wherever you go, because you never know when someone's going to be interested. You don't want to be empty-handed.
Okay, but what if I just started? So
Just started?
I don't have anything yet. I don't even have my products yet.
Cool. So thanks for putting me on the spot with that.
You do that to me all the time, so I'm throwing it back on you.
First thing is business cards. Don't invest in a business card. I'll show you a really cool trick. On vistaprint.com, you can build a business card and then say, click to see the sample. It'll have this cool little hand holding your business card. You then take a picture of it with your cell phone.
Still order it.
And now you've got your business card
You can address
on your
this
cell
later.
phone and say,
Please.
you know what, let me just, rather than kill another tree, let me,
Oh my gosh. I'm
let
not
me
a part of
message
it.
you. Let me just text you my business card. 2 things. Now you've got their information and they've got yours digitally.
Okay, so now here's the ethical version of this. You can do that as long as you order your cards, but in the meantime, there's no reason why you can't have that information. And then when you are in a situation where you're at the pool, but you have your phone, but not your bag with your cards, or you're at a family gathering and you don't have business cards to hand out, but somebody starts asking you and they're like, I need your information. It is a great way to have a way to access that and gather that information from another person. So it is a good idea, but keep it above board.
Give it above board.
And Phil, can I just add, on Vistaprint, this is what I do, you can right click and save it to your computer, the image, and then print them yourself.
Boom.
All right, there you go. That was
Perfect.
offline too.
Yeah,
You
there
can
we
share
go.
that in a minute. All right. Catalog, you are going to get 1 catalog in your welcome pack. carry that with you. Invest in the catalogs are $15 for 25. Invest in those, give them out sparingly, but use them. When I did not know the product, I had this thing with me so that when somebody texted me or called me, I could say, well, ProBio 5, yeah, it's specifically designed enzyme, vitamin, and probiotic supplement. There's no reason why you can't read that to somebody. They do not know that you have a catalog in your hand, but it's information in your hand and you can feel knowledgeable. The other thing is you access your Facebook groups. You should be going every day at some point during your day, and you can access your upline as well as your back office. Becky.
When I was new, I sat down and went through the catalog because the combos are in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wrote
You
in
added those.
the ones
Smart.
the combos, how much money they were saving if they ordered the Tri-Plex all together instead of separately, and use it as a business tool. So I didn't have to have it in my head or over here in the notebook. So I have a cheater
Cheater catalog.
catalog.
Great idea. So adding the combinations, the combo packages to the catalog that you don't have. That's a great idea with their prices. I love that.
Okay, number 4, build relationships.
You're going to talk about that.
Go ahead.
So building relationship, this is really relationship sharing. We say that we are not in the business of selling, because we hear that all the time. Well, I can't sell anything. I don't have a sales background. Either do I. I was a speech therapist. I work with kids on the floor and taught them single words, 2 words at some point. I did not have the background to do what I'm doing, but I do know how to love on people, and I do know how to listen to people. And so if you can listen and you can hear what people have to say and show them that you care about them, they're going to care about what you have to share with them. Because when I can call Jackie Mack, who we're competing with her newborn baby, her newborn grandbaby is at her house. She was like, I will be there, maybe. But Jackie had posted on Facebook one day, said, I'm sitting in my closet crying because I can't fit into any of my clothes. I don't know, Lord, what, and it was on a Sunday morning. She's like, I don't even want to go to church, but I threw on something. I feel horrible. And I reached out to her in that place of pain and said, look, I don't know if you've heard of this, and I'm not coming at you with something to sell, but I hear your heart, and I've been where you're at, and if you would just try it, I'll send you something. If you don't have a relationship with somebody, you can't do that, because I'm going to get offended if I don't know you, and then out of nowhere, you're like, well, I saw you're feeling fat today, so here's a fat pill. That doesn't work. But when you care about people, and then you say, I think, and the great thing too, guys, is that 60-day money-back guarantee. When you can assure someone that there's not a trap that they're going to fall into once you hook them in and say, now you're stuck. I can't guarantee that it's going to work for everybody. Nor should that be a problem, though, for me to not feel that way, because my story is not the same as Erica's. Erica's lost 50 gazillion pounds, 52 pounds. And I lost 19. It's
You're really happy for her, I can tell.
She knows I love her. She does. But my story's not going to be the same as hers. My story's not going to be the same as Ruby's. My story's not the same as Lori's or as Diane's. But if you care about that person and you stay in contact with them, you can help work through some of those things and help. And it always helps your business.
Attend trainings and be curious. Number 5, attend trainings, be curious.
What do you mean by be curious?
Not just accepting things at face value. So if you hear about something that ProBio does, well, dig in a little bit. Just have a curious mind. Ask questions. Don't always accept things at face value, and want to know. Have a curious spirit where you want to learn more. You have this thirst and this hunger for education and information, so that you can then use that in your business or just in your life in general.
And it makes it not so overwhelming to grow your business and to learn about Plexus. We only have 15, Brony.
What are you doing?
We only have 15 products, which is a gift in itself that we don't have a gazillion products to know and learn about and be the professional about. But to know there are 15 products. And so I know Ruby and I, well, what if somebody asks me a question? What am I going to say? If you can take learn something new every day, and limit yourself to that, and there'll be days where you're like, you kind of dig in and you're like, oh, well, I want to know about that. If you have the time and the energy to do that, then that's great. But if you're learning a little bit every day, it's not an overwhelming process to really become an expert on the business.
Agreed. Number 6 is have open communication, both to your upline and your downline. So when you've got an issue, you've got a question, you've got a concern, you should be able to share that up, as well as be available to those who are on your team.
He's just in a mood right now.
Yeah, what is my dog doing?
Riley, you need to come.
Oh, he'll hop up.
This is like, no.
There he goes, up to his bed and.
So a great quote that we heard at convention that I loved from Richard Chamberlain, who was a guest. He's an ambassador, and he shared his testimony. He said, if you have one ambassador on your team underneath you, you forfeit the right to quit. And I love that because it means that you have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to our customers to make sure they're educated and they know how Plexus works and the best, walking them through things. But we also have a responsibility to our team. And I will tell you, if you don't have open communication, then you don't have a relationship. And sometimes we can control that and sometimes we can't. So we make the best of the situation and we do our part and then we move on. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right, so let's hear the room say this together. Ready? The fortune is in the follow-up. Number 7 is follow-up. I will brag on my wife and say that she is fantastic at following up. I'm trying to think of another F.
Monica was probably like, oh my God,
She's-
this lady does not leave me alone.
No, but you know what? We can talk about 6 no's to get to yes and whatnot, but it's not even about that. It's just about making sure that you do everything that you can to share, and that when it comes to accountability, that you follow up on everything that you could, and you can sit there at night and go, I did everything I could, shared everything I could. It's no longer on me if this person doesn't realize the benefits of Plexus.
And I will say this, life gets in the way for people. Life gets in the way for us. So if life gets in the way of us doing what we want to do for our business or for taking our products, then you can only imagine that the customers and potential people and ambassadors, that life happens for them. And somehow in our mind, and Vicky's going to talk about this in a second, is that we attach fear to, and a lot of times it's totally, what's the word I'm looking for that I just... Irrational. Thank you, Sheza. It's a rational fear of, you create all these presumptions of why that person's not responding to you or why they're putting you off, and it might just be that they're crazy busy that week. They might just have things in the way. And if they initially reached out to you in one way or another that they were interested or they needed these products, then it's our obligation, right? Because if we see our products as a gift, if we're doing all the first 6 things that we're feeling like we are a product, that we have a testimony, then there's no reason that we can't continue to do that follow-up. And that follow-up really takes 7 to 8 times. Y'all hear me say that all the time. 7 to 8 times to get some sort of an answer. So
if you get someone on the first try that says, okay, I'm in,
you were lucky.
you're blessed. That's great. Just know the next 2 are going to take you 16 times.
Pretty much. Number 8.
This is huge for us, and it should be for you as well.
Be positive and optimistic. We attract what we are. And if we are negative, we are going to repel. And if we're positive, even if it's sun shining, if that's the only thing that you can be happy about that. I will never forget, I was about 24, 25 years old, and I was sitting in a room full of women, and there were some young girls right out of college coming in. There was several of us who had just been married and had new babies, and we were all kind of complaining about, oh, I'm so tired, and if I have to feed a baby every 2 hours again, I'm gonna die. And one of the little girls who was 18 or 19 years old said, y'all have just made me not want to get married and not want to have babies. And it stuck with me so much because all growing up, that was like my dream, right? Is to get married and to have a baby. And then the minute I had what I had, I was complaining about it, and someone called me out on it that didn't have it yet, that probably had the same dream. And that can apply to our business. That can apply so many areas of our life. If we are negative and, well, the price, they're not working for me. You're not talking about the ice cream you're eating or the margarita that you drank, or not getting your butt off the couch because you're like, it's too hot, I don't want to go walk outside. All the things that I've done that, been there, done
I said
that.
that the other day. It wasn't that hot. I mean, it's just cool.
But if you're, again, it's like having a reality check and then choosing your happiness. It really does make a huge difference in your business and how you attract people, both customers and potential.
A few more. Number 9, be consistent and strategic. What do you mean strategic?
So we often talk about how we have built our business, that we do this as a couple. We have been strategic in that. Plexus allows us to work together and make more income because we work our business that way. The other day I was talking to someone on the phone. They were interested, and I signed them up, and I wasn't paying attention, and I signed them up under me and not under Phil. And Phil was like, what are you doing? Okay, thank you for cutting me out of that. But there's a strategy to running our business. And not only is there a strategy for us, the way we run our business, I know that we've talked, Eric and I have talked about when we see more traffic on Facebook. Be strategic. Don't just willy-nilly put a post out there and hope that it lands on somebody. Think about your friends list. Think about the people that are in your life that maybe have diabetes or have a kid that has ADHD. Go look up testimonies regarding those issues. Make sure that you've been in contact with them somehow, if it's on Facebook, if you're messaging them. Again, going back to that relationship first, if you're relationship building, then you're going to know what's going on in people's lives around you. And then be strategic in sharing that kind of information with your Facebook, or when you're sharing, the next time you talk to a friend, make sure you bring that up in a conversation so that you can make sure that they have that opportunity to hear about it.
Okay. Number 10.
Brand yourself. Branding is such a big buzzword right now. My goal for the summer, and I hope that I achieve it, is really to master Pinterest. Pinterest is the probably the #1 upcoming use of social media stream that's out there right now. And the reason why is because things that land on Pinterest tend to stay there much longer and get repinned over and over and over again, because we are all visual and we're all, Riley, seriously with your dog.
Yeah.
Take him out of here. He's not out. He's just causing all kinds of issues. But branding yourself is so important. So if you are, gosh, I need a good
Jen, do you
example.
want to use me as an example?
Yeah, perfect. Yes.
Okay, so my name translates.
Come up here. This is my friend Shazza.
I'm a realtor, and I wanted to brand myself because there's so many realtors, and I wanted people to remember me. And my name translates Shazza, and it means the essence of a flower. So I brand myself on my business card. My background is flowers behind my picture, and then as takeaways, I'm giving flower seeds for you to plant in your new home. And so that's how I brand myself with flowers.
Brilliant.
Thank
That's
you for
great.
sharing.
Thank you.
So that's the way,
Sherry Spangler.
Sherry Spangler is a great, she has the whole Plexus Fit Mom, and she uses that tagline on every post that she makes. She takes pictures of her doing fit things as a mama. So she has her baby in her picture, and she talks about how she incorporates that her business is really generated as a mama with a young kid. So she really is painting that picture for people of every time they think or hear that beyond her name, that they're connecting.
So it just ties back into passion. Whatever your passion is, if you feel like your ministry is, tie that in and brand yourself.
Lori Harrison, for those of you who've been around, we know Lori Harrison is the fungus queen. She is passionate about our probiotic, and she sells thousands of dollars worth of probiotic every month because she has branded herself that way.
Cool. Last one, and this is probably
Phil
the
gave
biggest
it
one.
a bonus 11.
Number 11. Go ahead.
Do something every day that will scare you related to your business. And maybe it's not related to your business, because we know that self-development, personal growth is a huge part of being successful in the network marketing business, because we're connecting ourselves with other people. And that can happen in a variety of forms. You know, a lot of times we think something, the natural scary thing would be something outside of yourself, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's challenging yourself to run on a treadmill for 10 minutes when you've never run past 2 minutes. But you're going to say, I'm going to do this today, if it feels like I'm going to die, which for me would pretty much almost feel like I could die in 2 minutes.
Well, and then just coming to a meeting like this might be scary for someone.
Sure.
And that's great that you step out of your comfort zone and do something that's scary.
Yeah, Ruby, do you want to come up here and share? Just kidding. Just kidding. You're here. Okay, so that's our top 11. That's the bulk of our training. I'm super excited.
First. Now we're going to close it down.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm super excited to give Rainey, who I mentioned a minute ago, just a few minutes to address you guys, to share with you, because I know that's her heart. She loves to love on people, so we're going to let her do that real quick.
Hi, everybody. This is a beautiful room. I walked in, and it's so fun to see so many familiar faces and new faces as well. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Rainey Anderson, and I am a Diamond Silver Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. It is such an honor to be a part of this company. I can't even tell you. been with the product for almost 3 years and have not missed a day. Well, I take that back. I have purposely missed days just to cleanse my body and restart. However, they have been faithful to me as I have to them. And so if you continue with the products, you will continue to have that sustained energy. You will be at a weight that is healthy for you, and you'll feel better than you did. And in my case, I feel better in my 40s than I did even in my 20s. And I say that with a sincere heart. And for those of you that have heard this story, I'll just go ahead and say I'm sorry, because you're going to hear it again. But I started with Plexus about, golly, a little bit over 2 years ago now. It was in April of 2013. And I'll keep my story short today because I know we have another speaker. I was quickly propelled in a position where I was going to support my family singularly. So in other words, I was a single mama very fast. And my daughter was in or still is, thankfully, in a private school. It was the only school that she had known. And the goal was, honestly, to keep the roof over our head and to be able to keep her in that school. I prayed, y'all. I'll be real frank and open and sincere with that. That's the only thing I knew to do, because I knew I didn't want to go to a 9-to-5 job. Or these days, it's more like, 7:30 to 6. I didn't want to miss out on what all of a sudden became a luxury. The routine of being a stay-at-home mom very quickly was a luxury that I wanted to hold on to. I wanted to be able to take Sadie to school, and I wanted to be able to pick her up. So I did start interviewing because responsibility and the reality did kick in. I was offered a job fairly immediately, and that was a blessing, but I was unconventional and I didn't accept it. And the same night I didn't accept the job, I was on Facebook, and I happened to see a friend from the school that my daughter attended speak about or post about how Plexus had blessed her and how she was able to pay for 1 month's tuition for both of her children. Well, that translated into a dollar number that I could understand, because of course Sadie went there. And I said, you know what? I know these products. I think I can make a business out of it. So on April 29th of 2013, I signed up as an ambassador with Plexus, and I just dug in, and I didn't accept anything other than success for myself. I said that I was going to walk across stage a year later at convention, and I'm proud to tell you that I walked across that stage as a diamond ambassador with the company. It has been a blessing beyond measure. I tell people this all the time. The finances have been incredible, amazing, more than I ever had prayed for. So I tell y'all, I know that this came from God because it was bigger than I could have ever imagined, the end result. And then the icing on the cake is that we get to help thousands of people feel better and hopefully realize their dreams and goals, whatever those may be for themselves. But then additionally, we get to create this sub-family within our organization. And so I just want to thank you all for, being here, taking the time to invest in yourselves and your business. And you guys have got amazing leaders here with the Mangoes. I mean, every month you've got this incredible time to gather together, to learn, to grow, to bounce ideas off of one another, and they open their beautiful home and share their hearts with you guys. And so I'm proud of y'all for doing that. You're super consistent, and your team has blossomed as a result of it. So I will be here to stick around to answer questions. I thank you guys for allowing me to share with you today. I love you all with the love of the Lord. I pray blessings over each and every one of you, and that you would have success, however you measure that in this. Thanks. Get off the floor. Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Yes.
We love having Rainey as a leader. I was going to have her stay up here and ask questions, but we'll save that for another.
Okay.
We'll save that for another time. Another special training event.
And she, like she said, and for those of you that know her, you know this about her heart, but for those of you who are new, she's an open book about the business, and she'll share with you, and she's very approachable. So if you have a question or something that's kind of nagging at your mind, please reach out to her if you don't reach out to us and ask that. So
Actually, you know what? I will ask one question. Come back up here. This is important. It's critical.
this is a mess.
So here's the one question.
Okay.
Prior to Plexus, did you have any training, qualifications, huge list of friends, or anything that would make you or help you become a diamond more than anybody else that's watching or in the room?
Okay, so to answer your question, like you said, I'm an open book. I was a recruiter prior to being a part of Plexus. So I do have a background of knowing how to follow up with people, the customer service aspect. But did I have Celeste is our double diamond upline, and she said something the other day that really resounded with me, because a lot of times I think people have said, oh, well, she got lucky or she got this. No, it was her 37 years that got her to that point. And I will sit there and echo that. It was my 42 years that got me to this point. I mean, people found credibility in me. They trusted me. And at the end of the day, I just really believe in being honest with people and telling people why this was a great opportunity for me, and hopefully that they could find a place to relate to that within their own lives. So yes and no. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 10 plus years, so I hadn't worked. So I had a foundation of these skill sets, but it wasn't like I was out in the workforce every day and that I came out and I said, okay, I'm going to become a professional networker now. It just happened to be that I was very blessed by the opportunity to do so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. How about you?
Okay. I am very excited. We have the next few minutes to hear from Vicki Knight, and some of you have heard from her before. She is a friend of mine through church and through ministry. I have been visiting with her personally for, off and on for the last 6 or 8 months now, to be a great place to go and just get a checkup from the neck up, and a heart issue. And there's so many things in our business. We talked about practical things today that relate to our business that are good things to do, but then there's also, for every good thing there is to do in our business, there's always going to be something that might hold us back. And she and I have talked at length about how fear can really grip us and keep us from pursuing the practical things in our lives to get over things. And so she's going to share with us for just a few minutes and offer something very exclusive to our team. So Vicki, thank you.
Thank you all for allowing me to come speak to you today. I'm sorry I was late. I had a commitment beforehand, but I want to just express to you that the last 15 years of my life have been very transformative. I had gotten to a place where I was desperate for a change, and I went before God and I said, please show me what I don't understand. I've been at church every week. I read a lot of books. I do a lot of extra things, and I just did not get it. And when I looked around, the people that I was friends with were very sincere. We're not getting the results that they wanted to either. So I went before God and I said, show me what I don't understand. And if you will show me, I will teach every person that will listen to me. And boy, has he answered that prayer. I can't give you my testimony today because I only have 10 minutes, and I promised to stay within 10 minutes. And if anybody knew me in this room, they'd know how hard that would be.
Yes, I know. I've reminded her multiple times.
So but I wanted to give you a visual of 15 years ago of where I was. This is what I was 2 years ago, too. Now, the path that God took me on was to deal with myself before I dealt with the weight. But this does not represent just being overweight, but this represents the effect of unhealthy relationships. This is the effect of shame and guilt and anger. This is the effect of the fears that come because of it. Fear comes because we have relationship issues. And so when you see those pants, I want you to understand that it is more than just eating too much. There was that too in an effort to have comfort. But one of the things I want you to understand is shame and guilt and all of these things opens us up to fear. And the relationship problems that I had was not just with other people. I didn't have a proper relationship with God, at least not the one I have today. I did not have a proper relationship with myself. I didn't like myself very much. And that had a tremendous effect because that affects the people that I choose to be in a relationship and how I relate to them. So God started with me on my path for me to deal with all of these things. And that was because that's my calling in life, When I said, please show me what I do not know, and I will teach others, I was literally establishing my calling in my life on that day. Standing in the middle of my kitchen. It was a great time. So one of the things I want you to understand is that fear raises our cortisol levels. And when our cortisol levels are high, our blood sugar goes up, and that is a big part of the weight. That's why I say that the unhealthy relationships that bring us into fear is a big part of the weight issue. So when you're helping people and you're walking this stuff out yourself, you have to understand that there's another dynamic that is working with you. And then it takes you into sugar addiction, and with all addictions, there's a need to be loved. That's what drives us there. That's what, and if you really want to be whole yourself and help people get whole, you need to understand that there's this need to be loved that's driving the whole thing. There are 4 big fears that we all battle. And we battle a big time in our own lives, but also in the business. The first one is the fear of failure. And why do we afraid to fail? Why are we afraid to fail? We're afraid to fail because we're afraid of man. We're afraid of what they'll think, what they'll do, what they'll say, how they're feeling. And that drives that fear of rejection. We're terrified of rejection because I don't think there's anything more painful on the earth to experience than the pain of being rejected. And then the last fear is the fear of being abandoned. And so maybe even in this business, it may be the fear of getting into relationship with people for the fear that we may be abandoned by them someday. They may leave us. And that can be very terrifying. Let me ask you a question. How many of you, and you don't have to raise your hand, just answer it in your own self. How many of you got involved in this business because you knew the products worked, you had good results, but you also knew that there was a vehicle to go out and do a lot of good for people? It would really help a lot of people overcome something significant. And my guess is almost everyone in this room is saying yes on the inside of them. Would you, have you gotten involved in this business because you see the financial piece? You want financial freedom. You want your time back. You want to leave an inheritance to your children. You don't want to work a job. Like what Rainey says, I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. I'm working now. Most of it's in ministry, but I have to have this extra job while I'm developing it. I want to be home because that's where I want to do, and I want to minister to people. So I want the financial freedom that comes with that. How many of you are looking for that?
Yeah.
Now, if we build this business right, we know from the people that we know that if we become diamond, would you say that we would earn at least $1 million if we became diamond? Is that true? Not maybe in a year, but ultimately, right? You can get to a point where you'd earn it a year if you build it big enough. But if you become diamond, eventually you're going to earn $1 million, right? So to build this business, can I say that it literally is $1 million decision? It can be, to decide to do this. So let me ask you the last question I want to ask you. Who's going to make that decision? Are you going to make that decision, or is fear going to make that decision? And that's the thing I want you to take away today. Who's going to make the decision on building this business? Are you going to make it, or is fear going to make it? And I have gotten to a place in my life right now that fear is not going to have a chance to make any decision for me any longer. I may battle it. I may be tempted to go there. It may push me back a couple of steps, but it will not win. And I have overcome a lot of fear and a lot of stuff in the last 12 years. And now I understand it. I understand its door point. I understand why it's there. A lot of times we battle the fear of rejection and the failure and all that because there's something it's attached to from something we experienced before. And that's what I've learned to do, is to help you unhinge from that so it doesn't drive you any longer. Now, as Jennifer said, we have been talking. It has been in my heart since I started to develop a program or classes to enable those of you that want to overcome this stuff so that you can become what you had hoped to do the day you signed up, to help you overcome this fear and get healing in your heart. I have in my ministry, I just opened an office in my ministry, I offer that in general. But we're going to tweak it to be specialized for those of you that want to be entrepreneurs and build your own business. We're going to tweak it, and I want feedback on what it is you need. But I truly believe that if we can address this to where you overcome it, many of you will prosper. And think of what it would be for those of you that come into the business that have the same broken-hearted issues that I just described, that you can come in there and help them heal their hearts, and think of how stable your business will be because fear is not driving it. You're not constantly running around trying to overcome things, but you can move forward in a more direct way. So I think I kept it on 10
You did
minutes.
awesome.
So like I said, we're in the process of offering these things. My website is called calmnation.net. I got gift business cards up there. If you and it's all in development, but if you want to talk to me personally about your struggle and just listen to how I would address it, I am very happy to hear it. If you'd like to just get on the email loop to hear what I'm doing and what's available, you're welcome to do that. I know we'll post on there too. But if you want to talk to me personally, get my business card and contact me, and I would love to talk to you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
What?
Recap the
Fear,
first
failure.
Over here.
Okay.
There we go. There you go.
Fear of failure, fear of man, which is afraid of what people will think and do and feel, fear of rejection, and fear of abandonment.
And I will just personally plug, like, I didn't go in there with any kind of, when you think of meeting with someone, you think of like that you're in a trauma state, right? Like that something's bleeding, something's open, something's not working at home, or there's an addiction of some sort that you're trying to grasp. I came to her with none of those things. I'm a pretty open book. And yet, as we started talking, there were very clear pinpoints of fears in my life that were attached to things growing up and with my brother and his health and my dad's health that were all driving certain parts and aspects of my business in a way that was not healthy because I was reactive instead of really sitting back and responding and coming at it from a place of being stable and from a place of peace so that I could move forward.
Right.
And I feel like it's made a huge difference.
And let's go back to the $1 million question. It's like, what will you invest in yourself in order to create that reality?
Right.
Are you worth that? Okay, it will take that kind of investment, especially if a lot of us are hindered. We all battle it, but for many of us, it's a deal breaker. It will stop you, and I don't want you to be stopped. I want you to be, what's in your heart. I want to see it manifest.
Awesome.
Really, really
Thank
good.
you very much. Okay, I love it. Shez's,
We're going
yes.
to turn this off because that
Yeah.
doesn't apply to them.
So thank you all for
There.
joining again this month.
Yes,
We'll have it again next month. And
we do.
and
And go Plexus.
all right, very good.